Good morning. We're here today with Dalia Holy, founder of Dalia Botanique. Good morning, Dalia.
Morning.
Can you please introduce yourself and Dalia Botanique, please?
Yeah, hi. I'm Dalia. I live in Wakefield, West Yorkshire, and I founded Dalia Botanique in lockdown. So it's been about 2.5 years now. And yeah, it's just been going from strength to strength. So I'm excited to talk about it today.
Fantastic. So I've been on the website and you mentioned something garden to bottle. Can you please tell us more about the workflow?
Yeah, of course. So, um, yeah, I think for me, one of the things that I came up with the concept of garden to bottle after during lockdown, like a lot of people. I wasn't really working. I had a part-time job, but I lost my original job, which was my massage business, because obviously everything shut down. And I moved out of my nice kind of city centre in Leeds apartment, moved in with my other half so we could be together. It was for me to save money. And he had a garden, but it was just covered in weeds, and so I started gardening, trying to sort his garden out. Whilst this was happening, I also started doing my skincare courses because I wanted to start up a skincare brand. I started introducing products and I had my massage business. And so when lockdown came, it was like the perfect time to start introducing and learning a bit more about skincare. And I found that as I was learning about all the different sort of plant oils, I realized there were quite a few that I was growing in my garden. And I was like, oh, okay. So it seems to be like, a lot of the botanicals we grow in the UK. A lot of the wildflowers that I was growing in the garden were also being talked about in my course. So I was like, oh, this is brilliant. So, so I came up with the concept of garden to bottle. Sadly, I can't use my own grown flowers because they have to go through like a drying process and a cleaning process to make sure, they haven't got any kind of, I don't know, wood lysine or something when they get processed into my skincare product. So instead, I go to a lot of UK farms who process the flowers into oils on site. So yeah, that's how I came up with the concept. Really, I just noticed there was a kind of marriage of the flowers and the vegetables I was growing, and the ones that I was learning about in skincare and having all these great skincare properties. So that's how the concept came together.
I think it's an amazing link, to be honest. So you started in 2020. So how easy or difficult was to start up, and what would you recommend to new startups?
So I think starting a business in lockdown was very different to perhaps starting a business now. Um, I think there's a lot of people starting businesses up, and there was a real kind of support for people, entrepreneurs and people setting up businesses and people wanting to support local businesses on their doorstep. And there's a lot of people shopping as well. So like lockdown for me, that Christmas was one of the best Christmases I've had in terms of sales. So people were, I wasn't even having to like promote it much. I went on Etsy, I was top of Etsy, because I was a new site and they saw that I was bringing people in. So they bump you up because obviously the more sales you get, the more money Etsy gets. And so like it was just, yeah, it just absolutely exploded. I didn't have to do that much to get customers. And so now obviously the things that were a struggle were things like getting ingredients, postage, because companies were kind of either on hold or they sort of narrowed down their staff or their processes just because they couldn't be like 40 people in a factory or a fulfillment center. So ingredients and things like that were taking especially ones that came from abroad were taking a lot longer to get here or were out of stock for ages. So getting those kind of things was the challenge, but sales wasn't. In fact, it's quite the opposite for sales. So I think I think now it's, in terms of ingredients and supplies, are probably easier to get, but getting sales is probably harder now, I think, because people haven't perhaps got as much money to spend as other businesses out there. and it's all about kind of advertising yourself and things like that in a completely different way to how lockdown was, because people weren't going out, people were on social media a lot, people had saved money because they weren't going out spending it. So it was a completely different way of marketing and operating than what it is now. In terms of advice, I would say, just go for it. I think that find out, don't rush into it, first of all. Find out what your area of expertise is or what your interest is, and have a look and see if people want to buy your products. First of all, I think I started mine probably a little bit too quickly, and I think it's only now that I'm going back and I'm going, okay, I would probably do things a little bit differently now in terms of my research and looking for my ideal customer and things like that as well. So I'd probably do that a little bit different now. But there is so much support, especially up north, for people starting new businesses. There's a lot of money there for funding. There's a lot of business support groups. I've just finished the NatWest Accelerator program, free of charge business coaching for 6 months. There's Northern Powerhouse. So there's lots of stuff happening in Yorkshire at the moment to support entrepreneurs. So I think now is a really, really good time to have a look at setting up. But obviously, I would recommend that spending a lot of time doing your research and not being worried about time on developing your business. Like, take your time doing it. Don't feel like you have to rush. I think that's definitely one of the differences now between now and what setting up in 2020 was like.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So what are your plans for the next couple of years?
Oh, well, a couple of things. So I want to, I definitely want to get into more retail. So I want to look at garden centres, florists, sort of bigger farm shops, because I know that's where my customers are. They're the people that buy my products. I'd love to look at getting back into Europe. Unfortunately, Brexit kind of scuppered that a little bit. So, I do want to look at selling in Europe. Potentially look at funding as well, applying for funding so I can start to take on, other members of staff, and look at ways to develop Dalia Botanique for different income streams. So I think that's something I've learned a lot this year as well, is have a look at kind of how to add passive income into your business as well. And so I'm looking at kind of have Dalia Botanique in the middle, the skincare brand, but then what other things can branch off from that as well to bring in extra money into the business without me having to do a lot of the research and development work. So perhaps white label products, candles, aromatherapy products, that kind of thing, where I can kind of get other people to make the products for me, and then I sell them on, so it adds in an extra stream. So yes, it's just looking at ways to grow Dalia Botanique here and maybe internationally, hopefully.
I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dalia. It's been amazing to talk to you today. If you would like to know more, please visit Dalia Botanique website. Thank you.
Thank you.